Hello class. This video is going to go over if you're considering making a video, a film, an experimental video, an experimental film, experimental animation, kind of how to go about that, doing that, the process. I'm starting here with Film Freeway, which is a great resource to see what kind of types of film festivals are available. You can search by categories over here. You can even search by entry fees, like things that have no entry fee, and just kind of scroll through these. I would actually recommend checking this out first, just to kind of see what's available. It's nice. It gives you a deadline, so you kind of can think about, oh, I should really see this idea out really quickly, so I can submit to this film festival to see what they think. So anything of this nature starts out with a storyboard, which I'm sure you've heard of. Storyboards generally look like this, right? Oh, one here. So they look like this because there's a lot of people working with them, and people need to be able to look at them, understand them, recommend changes, make changes, the director, the producer, etc. So there is a key, a way to do storyboard. It's an actual job, and it's a good job. It pays well in California. So if you want to get into that, you're a good drawer, go for it. Like start with a storyboard, get really good at making storyboards, understand how it's done. Even if you're not a good drawer and you want to, let's say you're want to make a film, storyboards are still useful. I would still highly recommend them. Here's one, obviously not the best draw in the world, stick figures, but it helps. It's going to help you understand how things look, the angle of the shot, how to frame things, what happens in between things. Once you have two scenes, you really start thinking about, well, how do I go? Maybe there's an interesting way to go between these two scenes. Do I need those scenes, etc. So you need to start with a storyboard. Here's a storyboard from Parasite. You can see even using collage is fine. So there's no reason not to use storyboard. And if you get good at it, you can actually learn the processes. There's some great books on how to do it, so that if you decided to go and try to get a job like that, you could get a job like that. All this, from what I can understand, all this nowadays is digital, so digitally drawn, and then you can even have a little bit of animation inside of it. So I say that you should do it that way. But you can do it another way too. Storyboards that way are for, of course, like a group. I'm working on this animation right now, and it's just me, so it doesn't matter. No one else needs to see it. This is my storyboard, right? It doesn't look like that at all. It's kind of all over the place. I'm making drawings of scenes and thinking about how they kind of segue into each other, how they cut into each other, is my the method to my madness here. So this is how mine looks. So yours could look like that too, if it's just you. I'd recommend trying just a storyboard just so that I could help you also. After you've done that, the next step is to move on and make an animatic. And so here's my animatic. We'll watch a little bit of it, and I'll kind of jump through. 3:33 again. What a coincidence. Well, son, I don't believe much in coincidences. And so I'm going to turn that down. So you can tell it's really, really fast and loose, right? These are bad drawings. I'm using After Effects to move things around. I recorded some, audio real quick and put them together so that you need to be able to see, does it work? Does the timing work? Is what I'm talking about interesting? It also helps you visually understand what's going on, to see it in motion beyond a storyboard. So again, it's storyboard and then animatic. And then it's usually like come back and make another storyboard where you think about the other ideas. Then and only then are you ready to actually start making the assets and material for the final product. And so I'm showing you for an animation, but that also, of course, includes video. So let's go to my After Effects project and kind of go over what's happening here. So here's where I'm at for the finished product. I still have a few scenes in the beginning to make, but I'm using a variety of things. I use After Effects, I use Clip Studio, I use Photoshop, and I use a lot of like paintings that I might already have and I cut out. And it helped tremendously to have the comic first. Oh, did I show that? Yeah, let me see here. And so yeah, I'm not really a narrative animator. I'm more of a experimental, I think. But oops, where'd you go? But I did make some comics recently, and so I made them like, oh, this might be a fun way to make a minute and a half long animation. So you could do either or. You could make a storyboard first. You could make a comic first if you're not sure if it's got the material to make a animation. However you want to work, but just start with something. And so I kind of work through that, and then I'm here. And so I use After Effects obviously to move things around, to bring everything in. I'm doing actual drawings on paper, and then I'm scanning them and cutting them up, and then I'm doing some Clip Studio animation on top of that. So my goal is to kind of make it look like it's real. I'm using pen and marker on paper, and then I'm using Clip Studio to do these little animations, and then I'm using After Effects to loop them, to move things around. I'm recording my own audio. I'm the person who's talking so that I can make any changes that I want at any time. And then I use freesounds.org to find sounds like the sun burning, office sounds, nighttime, etc. And so this is what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get this idea done where the street lamp turns into his eyes, and trying to make that exactly how I want it. And then if there's interest, I know I'm talking about animation a lot here. If there's interest, I can go over how I do lip sync in Clip Studio. It's a really nice way to work. But again, this process of Storyboard, then Animatic, is good for both animators and those that shoot film and video. Your Animatic, instead of being drawings, could be very rough shots and cuts, right? If you can get people, great. If not, you could even just put your hand in front of the camera, right, and move it around like a puppet, just to kind of see the scene, understand the scene, and move it around. You want to do that so that you know when it's time to shoot, like, I want this, and I know I want that, and then you can put it together and in however you want. And so that should be it. Thank you.